EA Sports FC have chosen their class of future stars for 2025, and they're available in the game right now. I've got Boovy and I've got Loz with me today. We're going to run through and celebrate them on this tier list. We've got 4 different categories to go through: Ballon d'Or, World Class, Club Legend and Premier League star. So lots of positivity in the room today. Let's start with your man, or my man, Lenny Yoro.
He actually could have been my man as well at one point, I think. I think Liverpool were interested, weren't they? Yeah. Really talented. I love his touch. I think technically you can say that every player on this list, maybe different to like 20 years ago, is technically proficient. They're all of a certain level where you go, right, this guy's coming in, we know that he's fantastic. Since he's come to United, he's been injured for 2.5 months, so about 10 weeks of that.
Didn't come back till December.
And he was injured in his first game against Arsenal in that pre-season. And I've got to admit, we were next, Liverpool being us, on that pre-season. And I was a little bit worried about facing him because he came with he's got a big reputation. And I think he's only just getting back up towards that now. I guess the thing for him is he would have started as a back 2, and now he's going to be playing as part of a back 3. Where would his preferred position be within that? Is he going to find his best position in an Amorim system? And is he the A side in that back line? So can he shine in the way that he wants to or needs to? I guess those are all questions to be answered, but I don't think there's any question over his actual ability. And I think similar to other great centre-backs, he's got really good recovery pace. And I think he's very aggressive, which I really like. Yeah,
it's hard being a 19-year-old centre-back in the Premier League as well, isn't it, Boov? Not many of them are about.
No, he looks more than good enough. I think he's the kind of player that any rival fan would take to their club, even Man City. I think he looks like cut above anyone at Manchester United. Even when you've been struggling in big games, he carries the ball out. It doesn't faze him that Man United have been struggling massively in the last few weeks. I think he's a world-class centre-back easily.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
This is all prediction, basically, where they're going to go in their career. So you think world class.
Do you know the weird thing is
for a Ballon d'Or winning centre back, isn't it?
But do you know, with all these players, if Manchester United do well, then he'll be classed as world class.
Yeah.
If they struggle, which I don't think they will under Amorim, it makes him slip down and becomes more there, right?
Okay.
But I think you're right, Booth.
Yeah, world class at a different club, definitely.
Can I put him there?
Yeah, you can try, mate. Good luck sticking him on.
Thanks.
While Loz is sticking him on, let's go to your first one then. Boov, I think
it's Romeo
Lavia,
again.
isn't it?
It's heartbreak again.
What a great sale this was by City.
The only thing I can say is he is injury prone, and that's a big concern. When he plays, I think he's got the potential to look even better than someone like Caicedo, who's been absolutely incredible for Chelsea. He moves the ball a little bit smoother than Caicedo, in my opinion. He's got that kind of City Academy pedigree. I love Lavia. I think he's got the potential to be world class. But as far as injury concerns, it's a shame when we talk about young players and their injury concerns. It's a real shame in football, but he does have concerns.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only 21 years old, but he's missed 14 games this season through injury.
I think that was why Liverpool weren't willing to pay over a certain amount for him, and why a lot of people were originally questioning whether he'd be like a good long-term signing. But I do think at Chelsea he's got a chance to shine. His problem is he is behind a couple of players who are just really, really good.
When they play both of them, they look incredible.
That's honestly my issue with it. I know that's not almost their preferred system, but all these guys are playing in systems where it's like you have to play this specific role, and I think he's currently falling foul of that. So
where are you putting him?
I would sort of put him between those two categories.
I'd say club legend easily,
so club legend into world class, because I don't think he's quite fulfilled that potential yet. Should we say? So is that?
We'll allow you to put it wherever you want, Loz.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Let's go to the next one.
All right, next
Gomez.
one. Okay, so different to maybe these guys. These guys are both at clubs now where you would have said, oh, they should be fulfilling their potential. A lot of people would consider Wolves to be the club before the club, but they're great at identifying talent. I think he's shown that he can survive in a tough league like the Premier League, the intensity, he can keep up with the pace of the league, and if you can do that at such a young age, then I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Wolves, second most passes completed, fourth most chances created, first for progressive passes, first for defensive actions. It feels in terms of their midfield like he can do absolutely everything in there.
Yeah.
And he's that £50 million signing for a Liverpool, for an Arsenal in waiting. You could see Wolves making big profit. They didn't spend masses on him, about 20 million quid I think it was. So it's another one of those deals that Wolves make, and I think they could make big profit. A bit like Neto as well in previous transfer windows. I think Wolves will make a big lump of money on him.
Yeah, just 18.7 million euros he joined for. So where are you going to put him?
I would put him there right now.
Okay.
But I think he's got the potential to move up a little bit. But I'd probably put him just below. Actually, do you know what? It feels unfair to put him below Lavia, doesn't it? Considering
I think he's just below
23,
Lavia.
don't forget.
Sort of there. I put him like there, half Lavia.
Okay, it's getting slightly messy already.
It's a bit abstract here,
but it's fine. We don't mind
abstract. You did put me near
abstract.
the board, so that's the problem, I'd say, yeah.
Next up, we have got...
Well, no need to talk about this, mate. Just straight up, right?
Yeah,
If you want,
right
mate,
on the board,
if you back him that much.
No, sorry,
No.
it's rude of me, Booby. I shouldn't
Let me, because I'm a neutral.
Sure.
You're going to be biased about him because you love him so much, and
Neutral?
I'll be as equally as biased.
Okay,
because I think he's absolutely superb, and when he plays for Liverpool, I think he makes you better than when you've got Trent. It's a style. It's a style. It's about how you prefer the aesthetic quality of Trent. I think the defensive susceptibility that you get when Trent plays is completely gone when Conor Bradley plays. He's so balanced. He's big in the challenge. Huge in some of those Champions League games that he had early on in the season. I think he actually improves Liverpool when Trent's injured. That's crazy, and he's so young.
His reading of the game is really great as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what we've seen of him so far. There's like every player that comes through Liverpool's academy gets compared to Steven Gerrard. And there's one thing early on about Gerrard was he was able to manage games and really just impose himself. And when Bradley is at right back, you see him competing with obviously some of the best players on opposition teams. But I don't think that makes him Ballon d'Or worthy.
It's tough for a right back to win a Ballon d'Or.
right back, yeah.
It's so hard for a right back to win a Ballon d'Or.
As we'll
Trent
find
can't
out
do it at the
in the
moment.
next couple of years, yeah.
Okay, so where are you going to put him? World class?
I think he's a world-class right back in waiting, 100%.
But I'd say he's there, sort of half and half between world class and
It's your
that. at the
pick,
moment.
Loz.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
your
Well,
boy.
no, well, it's Boovy's card, so.
Next up, I think we've got Lucas Bergvall, who is having, I think, a really good season at Tottenham Hotspur, despite the fact they've been a bit chaotic. He's been one of their standout players.
He's also got the physical attributes to be able to fulfill it in the Premier League. I actually think he's slightly underrated at the moment.
Okay.
Obviously, I've been on the receiving end of horrible things from Bergvall as a Liverpool fan, and I think he's got a much higher ceiling than we're probably giving him credit for, and that's probably because of the system he's playing in right now. If they set up more towards his strengths, and I think at times they have, then you see what you get out of him. And I think his finishing is fantastic as well, put it that way.
Yeah, he's a good footballer.
Yeah, I have to say as well, like, very combative. I don't think they were expecting him to play 30 games at this stage of his first season, really, at the club. So,
No.
where are we going to put
I
Lucas
would say he's world class.
I don't know about that yet.
Interesting.
He's still at Spurs. I'll say club legend.
We might even have to start overlapping here. We have no problem with a little bit of overlap, I don't think.
Yeah, something there, yeah.
There?
Wow, above
Maybe
Conor Bradley, yeah.
I'd
Not
say
above
there.
Conor Bradley, Loz. Come
There,
on.
though.
He's your boy, Conor
He's half
Bradley.
He is, but there's no... saying he's good doesn't mean he's not good.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
go to the next
No,
one.
you happy a bit lower? No?
Yeah, no.
I'll replace him in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Booths, who have you got next?
I love this card. I can't believe... I'm upset Booth got this one.
Okay.
It's only Amad Diallo. I mean, he scored a great goal against Manchester
Don't
City.
say only like
Everyone's
that.
done
Don't
that. Leighton
say
Orient have
only
scored
like
great
that.
goals against Man City recently.
Don't say only like that.
No, I like Amad Diallo. Honestly, this isn't me trying to wind you up as a United fan. Man United fans talk about Amad Diallo, Ballon d'Or winner. I don't think he's quite there. But I think he's got the potential to be a world-class winger and carry you forward into the next few seasons. Ballon d'Or, it's a very, very hard position to say someone's a Ballon d'Or ready kid already. He's so young.
I get that.
I think it is tough, though, at times, to look very good in that Manchester United environment, which he's done. 16 goal involvements in all competitions this season. And I think it's made doubly hard when he's playing as a wing-back at times, then a right attacking mid. Didn't get off to the best start, obviously. Erik ten Hag was still in charge in the first few months of the season. Didn't favour him that much. I think he's shown a lot of resilience, Loz.
Not only resilience, but like when he's been on the pitch, then things have happened. And
Definitely.
I think that's a good read of whether he's a good player or not. I guess the thing with the difficulty in judging him is when a team isn't doing so well, then a lot of people tend to put a lot of stock into one or two players that are good and overhype them. And so you've got to kind of be a bit careful of that. But I don't think that should take away from what he's done. Like when I've seen him either as a sub or just switch position during the game, suddenly opens up so many opportunities, and his finishing is fantastic.
The goal against City was a world-class strike. It's one of the goals of the season, easily. So he's a world-class talent in waiting, no doubt. I think Ballon d'Or is just a big jump.
Okay, Ahmad, let's put him down.
Can we do that?
Absolutely.
Because then he's tiling up.
I have to say, Man United coming out very favourable at the moment from a Man City and a Liverpool guest.
You've got a good
here,
future, but I'd say your present is just
all over the place.
It is what it is.
Okay, next up, a player very much in the present, flying.
Young
Bournemouth.
Hungarian. He's willing, a bit like you, to have a bit of an out there haircut.
I mean, yeah, the trim at the moment, Milos. Come on.
It's very
We're going to fade that
severe.
up.
Very severe. And I say that's someone who's allergic to haircuts. So I think he's really highly rated in the Premier League. Clearly, there are a lot of big teams that want him. He came out with a statement recently that he wasn't going to go to Liverpool. I know we're not talking transfers here, but I think it shows that he's got a route that he wants to take in the game. And very often, world-class players can choose their own route. I wonder if he'll be back towards a La Liga kind of place sometime soon, and we'll see him playing for a pretty high-profile team in the Champions League next season.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Second most minutes of any player in the Bournemouth squad behind Zabarnyi, but going forward, it's like electric in this Iraola side.
Well, he took Man City to school. He absolutely killed Phil Foden for the Semenyo goal against Man City a few months ago when they battered us. That's the reality. He's fantastic. He's very balanced, very good offensively, but also defensively. He's big in the tackle. He's robust. I think he's on a similar plane to Conor Bradley. I think they're both potential world-class fullbacks. I like it. And they're hard to come by left-backs. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's less left-back selections than right-backs in the next few years.
You can double up if you want. You go above Conor.
I think he's level with him, but the thing is, he seems slightly ahead in the journey just because of the number of minutes he's getting.
Okay.
So that's why I put him there. But I think Bradley's probably got the ability that equals his. What's interesting about him is, as well, I think with the way that people play their fullbacks right now, he's getting to show his technical proficiency, and that's favouring him quite a lot.
Okay, fair enough. Next up, we're going to go to you, Booth.
Well, he's running rings around you, wasn't he, in the FA Cup?
Oh.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Who wasn't, though?
Well, no, 100%. No, look, Leicester are struggling massively. And when I watched him against Manchester United, I thought he was fantastic. Drove with the ball very, very well. Had a few shots that went a little bit wide, but he was running the game at points against you lot. What did you think about him?
Yeah, I like El Khanous. I think his touch is absolutely ridiculous. I think people have forgotten as well about the fee he was signed for. It's not a small fee. It was nearly 20 million euros off of Genk. Amazing goal against Tottenham as well. And again, it's hard to look really, really special in this Leicester side that has struggled throughout the campaign. I think it's fair to say they haven't had loads of standout performers. So where are we going to put Bilal El Khanous?
I think bottom club level. If Leicester City get relegated, he's the kind of guy that would carry them back into the Premier League.
Do you think
he would flourish in the
I
Championship?
think he'd
be
get
head and
picked
shoulders.
off. I think he'd get picked off by a big Premier League side and he'd be straight back into the
He's
Premier
running the
League.
show against Manchester
Come on then,
United.
let's put him on.
That's kind of the point, though, isn't it? I'm going to put him there.
Okay.
He's a good player. I really like it. I like his attitude as well. That's a great smile.
I agree with that. Kuchinov.
Speaking of good smiles, he hasn't had the best. He didn't have the best first couple of minutes.
No, but if you honestly take a deep dive into what happened after the header pass back didn't work out against Chelsea, he put in a big block, good on the ball, and against, I know it's Leyton Orient, but it was still to get City through the FA Cup. He was really, really good, really robust, good on the ball. He's very, very quick. He's one of the quickest centre-backs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I think he's got a very, very bright future.
I agree. And I think if Pep endorses you and Man City endorse you, then it tends to be a very good endorsement. They really went out of their way to get him. And I think so far he's looked pretty at home, to be honest.
Yeah. Are we going to move anybody around to make way for him?
I don't know, because of the blue tack, I don't really want to take anything off the board, if I'm honest. So
I'll help you.
Oh,
if you
really?
want to move
Okay.
somebody around.
He's above Keke, isn't he? And he's a potential world.
I think he is sort of there.
Wow.
I think
we've got to move
What
someone
would you
down
say
a
he's
bit,
above
Loz.
Diallo?
I'm not saying he's anywhere near Ballon d'Or, Joe.
You can overlap.
I'm not
You can
saying
overlap.
that. Yeah, overlap.
I think you can overlap. Start
Okay.
placing them on top
What,
of
like
each
that?
other.
Put him just above Lenny Yoro.
Yeah?
Just above Lenny Yoro.
Just there?
Of course.
Can he go there?
Yeah,
Is that
fine.
something we can
He's
do?
a
we
Jersey
can-
centre-back.
I don't think it really matters where exactly.
Yeah, I think it matters.
Okay,
The
fine.
board matters, Joe.
Sorry. Yeah.
How's that?
Okay,
How's
so
Diallo at the
Kuchinov above Lenny Yoro for you.
Just a touch, because he's playing for a Champions of England.
Okay. Next up, who we got? I think it's one of yours.
Champions of England.
Loza?
Yeah. Oh, is it me now?
Yeah, mate.
One of my favourite players in the Premier League. I think when Saka first got injured, everyone said, what are they going to do? Their young talent is out. This guy came in and made the position. It feels like it's his position right now. Not only that, but I think a lot of people underestimated him. I also think he's just so watchable.
Yeah.
Like, he's so good. There are a lot of players now where you sort of go, okay, you can be the robot the manager wants you to be. He's way more than that.
Yeah.
His touch, I mean, his finishing is fantastic, but I also think is the danger from distance means that Arsenal have got a real change in the way they can attack. Because a lot of the time you see Arsenal trying to walk the ball in or get the ball into a favourable position. He's able to work it into that position really quick and finish really well. I think he's a fantastic player. I'd love him at Liverpool.
I bet you would. I mean,
Yeah.
to be 17 years old and effectively have a trademark finish already is absolutely ridiculous. He's the third player to score 5 in a single season before turning 18 since Owen and Rooney. There's
Owen,
only
yeah.
2 other
That's
players that have
outrageous.
done it.
Yeah.
If Arsenal had incorporated him into the side earlier, which I think absolutely had to happen, that was just my opinion. I can get
would he have
incorporated him into the starting
Sure.
11, particularly when
Odegaard was
Odegaard
out.
had injury.
What, when he was
injuries.
16?
No, this season when he was 17.
Okay.
I'm saying earlier this season. I think Arsenal would have had 5-6 more points, seriously. And it's a big shame I think Arteta didn't take the risk, because it's like when Rooney came through Everton with Manchester United as well, a young Joe Cole, loads of examples. I think you could have played him a little bit earlier and Arsenal would have flourished.
What, do you think he would have had a good relationship with the referees or something?
No, but look,
Oh, right,
he
okay.
scores fantastic goals, and I think he's unbelievable. I think he's got the highest ceiling out of everyone I've seen on this board.
I've got to admit, there is like a kind of that's the closest to Ballon d'Or.
Okay.
immediately that I think
Technically.
we get. Mainly because of his position, and also because I don't know.
No, I think
can you
as
win
well.
a Ballon d'Or at Arsenal?
To be 17 years old and to be doing the things he's doing for club in both Champions League and the Premier League at the top end of the league, to replace a player like Bukayo Saka, who has been one of the outstanding players in the league pretty flawlessly, I think.
He's got a higher ceiling than Odegaard.
Incredible.
He's also he's 17, so he's still got so much physical growth to do, so much development.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, we got next. Booth.
Murillo.
What a player.
Unbelievable.
good.
And the fact Nottingham Forest have tied him down to 2029, huge contract. He's robust, he's great on the ball. He's almost like an old school centre-back
He's
in
a
terms of
thug,
how he
isn't he?
defends. Yeah, but then on the ball, he's still fantastic as well. I think he's a world-class centre-back.
Before he was tied
Wait.
down to a contract, I think a lot of other Premier League teams are looking at him and thinking, could we maybe sneak him in? But now it's just not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, I think a left-footed centre-back at his age, with his passing ability, can't go underrated. You know, second for passes in the Forest squad, third for passes into the final third, fourth for progressive passes, like just on the ball beast.
He's also really aggressive.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. And I know obviously you can say like a player is aggressive. I mean, similar to Konate almost. He'll go in to find a player almost and hunt them down. Sometimes centre-backs wait for the player to get to them. He's way more front-footed and active about it. And I think that's what's put Forest in such a great position
Where are we
this
putting
season.
him then?
Yeah, good question, Boo.
I mean,
I'll
we've got
go
two
second.
centre-backs with Kushinov and Lenny Yoro here.
Murillo's just below those two, I'd say.
oh, which is below.
Just
Just
below.
below
Right,
Kushinov.
so I'm sort of going to go like
Yeah,
that.
of course.
I might go there maybe.
Yeah,
Do you
just
think
about,
that, Boo?
yeah.
You happy with that?
That's fantastic.
Again, real mix of like expressions on this board as well, isn't there? Some of the guys not happy with where they are.
Let's do another one from Boovy next. I
yeah.
think you got Mark Guiu next, have you?
Well, that's classic Chelsea. You know, they spent loads of money on loads of players, and you have no idea where he is. I know he's played in the Conference League, hasn't really featured in the Premier League enough. Nicholas Jackson at points, flat to deceive. I honestly wouldn't know, lads, this guy's ceiling. I've just not seen enough of him from
It's
Chelsea.
very
Good hair.
difficult to judge him, isn't it? €6 million he arrived for, still only 19, but he's only played, 3 substitute appearances in the Premier League. He only played 71 minutes.
At Chelsea, he might be
Premier
moved
League.
on. Look at João Felix. It's like when we talk about some of these players, they're going to stay at their clubs potentially for 2-3 years. It's going to be an element of stability. He might be loaned out. He might be sold. We don't know with the Chelsea structure.
Got to ask yourself though, if João Felix is not staying at the club and he is, how good is he?
Oh, it's outrageous.
Very special potentially in that
everything.
number 9 role where they don't have a lot of backup for Nicholas Jackson, who isn't scoring goals at the moment. So where are we going to put Mark Guiu?
Difficult role, by the way, to play for Chelsea because I think it is like it's a very developed role. So it's not like he's come in and he can just make that his own.
I think Premier League star. I think.
What you think that he's the first player to be put there? That
think
feels
so.
a little harsh.
Somebody's gotta go
considering-
there.
I think he's more like that, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Not because club legend. No, maybe club legend feels a bit much.
Next up, let's go to Lewis Hall.
Yeah, sure. Probably underrated because of the club he's at, I think.
Ridiculous season.
Yeah, and I think most people don't realise how good he is
Yep.
because he plays for Newcastle, and most people just underestimate Newcastle. His intensity, his fitness, but also I think the way that he reads the game and what he allows, what Eddie Howe really wants from his players is to be able to manage games. And the games where Newcastle are good, he's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 4th most minutes of any Newcastle player this season, 3rd for defensive actions, 4th for chances created. I feel like he hasn't put a single foot wrong all season. He's 20 years
He
old.
looks really at home.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's one of those players where you'd be like, right, I want you to stay for however long.
You think
Yeah.
he'll be in Thomas Tuchel's first England squad?
Maybe a little bit young for that. I think Thomas Tuchel will lean towards experience, but I think he's right on the precipice playing for England.
Okay,
It depends
so
on
where
what
we go?
Tuchel does. If Tuchel wants to switch things up, then I think he should be in there.
I think he's definitely going to be in there.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
left back options.
I'm
that
talking
England
about
have got.
like starting at a World Cup, for example. I don't know about
Million
that
miles
right
off
now.
there. Where are we going to go with Lewis?
Well, Ballon d'Or feels a little high.
Club
but
legend,
I think he's sort of like
just below Bergvall.
there. Is he there? He's sort of there. Sort of there.
Yeah, yeah.
What, like there?
Wow.
I think actually I'd swap Bergvall and Lewis Hall, to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah,
Do it.
can I do that? Is that something we can do?
we can. Okay, we're trying our best with this ball.
There you go.
Okay, last one then, Booths. What a player.
Heartbreak. You've got
Morgan
half the Man
Rogers.
City EDS Academy in there, and
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers could have played
Another
for
good
City.
sale.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I think basically if you look at it, we
Look how happy that man.
we gave Aston Villa Morgan Rogers and a load of money for Jack Grealish, which a lot of people don't necessarily agree with. Morgan
Barrow
Rogers
in the middle.
fantastic, looked absolutely fantastic with the link-up play with Asensio midweek as well. So, yeah, he's a potential world-class midfielder.
I also think he's got the right manager to keep developing. I think that's really key with a lot of these guys. Like you're trying to map out where they're going. He's got a path to just keep moving up and up and up, and a manager is clearly going to encourage that. And he's now surrounded by even more quality players. I was looking at some of these players and thinking, who do you have to learn from? Like, he's got to go somewhere to raise his ceiling even higher. He needs someone to sort of just help him out a little bit.
Well, he needs to play the Champions League clubs, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. Whereas here, you like that. Here, I think he's got that, and he's got a manager who's really just
he's so physical. He's got the Steven Gerrard quality about it. We were talking about Jacob Ramsey a few years ago having that kind of Steven Gerrard quality. But Morgan Rogers, unbelievable ceiling. The physicality, we don't see enough of it from midfielders. He's a classic English midfielder, isn't he?
I think so. Like 6'3".
Yeah.
You know, to be playing the role he is with the technical ability he's got, 15 goal involvements already this season. He runs past people, ragdolls them out the way. We've seen it multiple times.
There must be a
Champions League
buyback.
hat-trick.
There must be a buyback to Man City.
No, mate, because he went to Borough in the middle, didn't he? So let's have a look at where we're going to put Morgan Rogers.
I'd put him just above Diallo, next to Ethan Manieri. I think he's that good.
Here.
Yeah, he could be one of the best midfielders in the world on his day.
Okay, so looking at the board, we're pretty much set. I want you to pick your one Ballon d'Or level future star now. The one that you think is most likely to get over the line.
That's a very interesting question. So I think our two guys here are pretty up there. I don't think... My problem is I think a right-back doesn't win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
But looking at him as a player, I think he's got the ability to be that next big club star for Liverpool. That should almost be higher, because that to me is as important as that.
Okay.
So you almost want to mix those two. I think it's Conor Bradley for me.
Okay, Booth?
Ethan Manieri, he's scoring Wayne Rooney type goals at his age. He could be, his ceiling for me is higher than Odegaard. Honestly, I think he could be a top level Arsenal legend even. It depends on Arsenal's ceiling, where they go with Mikel Arteta, but he's unbelievable, Ethan Manieri.
Okay, so there was the EA Sports FC Future Stars tier list. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit subscribe.